Okay, so welcome to this week's Wednesday night call. I'm loving this Wednesday night call, getting back into the Wednesday night calls. How are you finding it, Dee and Amy? I remember you girls back when we originally did the Wednesday night calls, and we stopped there in the Christmas period and that because it just got a bit crazy, but I'm really excited to get them going again, and I loved putting it together today and putting the final touches on it that I've been working on all week. So anyway, I will stop talking. Yeah, I like the midweek thing too. I like that as well. Cool. So what I wanted to chat with you ladies about today is something I get a lot of feedback through on our personal coaching calls is the skills, like exactly the lingo that I use, the wording that I use, and how I ask people to look at the business, and how I ask people to book a product presentation, and how I follow up with people, and all of that sort of stuff. So the biggest thing I wanted to start, I'll just get this chat bar up and over to the side. Yeah, great. The biggest thing that I wanted to chat about tonight is the importance of building rapport. It's such a relationship business, guys. It really is, first and foremost. So it's asking questions and finding people's needs, and then relating it to Arbonne. So I build relationships with people, and then I find I was chatting with Deanne about this morning. Just reaching out to people and creating a conversation doesn't have to necessarily always be about Arbonne. Just reaching out to see, I might notice that they've been posting a lot, baking foods a lot lately, or they might be posting a lot about their job or whatever it is. So I'll just reach out and say, hey, you've been really inspiring me with your baking things. What's your favorite cake recipe or something, just to build rapport with everyone in your network. Everyone. Be building rapport all the time. Be talking to people all the time. Find their need. And you start to chat with them and asking lots and lots of questions, and then it might pop up how they're just wanting more time. They're just wanting more freedom. They're just wanting more finances. They want to travel more. Oh my goodness, you hear all different sorts of things all the time. They want to be treated better at work. They want recognition. They want better friends. You'd be surprised how many people join this business because they want a nicer friend network. I've been really surprised to hear that lately. So my glasses are reflecting off the TV. I'll take them off. I'm just reading off my side thing here. At 8 o'clock at night, I get headaches if I don't read without glasses on. It's crazy. So, and then what I do in relation to that is, say I've been talking with Betty, and me and Betty have been chatting for, a little bit, going back and forth, talking about life, talking about family, talking about whatever. And then I say to Betty, how's your work going? What are you doing? And she tells me, and I'm like, are you loving that? How is that? And she's like, not really, to be honest. I'm really struggling with it. It's just not covering the bills or whatever it is. And that's when I would say something like, you know what, Betty, I would love to show you something that might be able to help you in that area, because I've actually been thinking of you lately. I don't know if you know what I do. And I've actually got here, I'll exit the screen share. This is what I want to do. And we use the funnel. Can you guys all see this here? So can you see here? I'm going to post these documents up after when I'm finished so that you guys can see them. This is some great wording. So see how it's got get your ask in gear with the funnel. But I would send Sally, say her name's changed to Sally now. You've been in my heart. This was made in the UK. So obviously you use the wording towards the culture that you're speaking with and in. But I probably wouldn't say you've been on my heart. I would say something like, I've been thinking of you. I don't know if you know this, but I've started a business with Arbonne a few weeks ago, and I'm super excited about it because, and this is where you share why you're doing the business and the mission that you're on. So, for example, Deanne, I hope it's okay if I use you as an example. Me and Deanne were talking today. So, and Deanne's science teacher, that her uni degree is a science teacher, and she was explaining to me how she went back to work for a couple of weeks there full time and how stressful it was. She's got 2 beautiful little kids, and that's a full-time job on its own. So to go back to work, I just think teachers' jobs are insane. They seriously are insane. And, Deanne was saying about her 2 weeks. So I would say something like, I'm super excited about it because, as you know, I'm a teacher. And I tried to go back to work full time, and I really struggled with it. It was really tricky to do around the 2 kids. And Arbonne is allowing me to generate a full-time income only working part-time. which could be, by the sounds of it, something you're really looking for as well. You know, that, and I've been asked to think of a few people to work with, and you were the first person that I thought of. And I think you would be fabulous at this business. So I think you would be great at this business because you're such a people person. You know, you always present yourself so nice, and I just always love this company. I mean, I always love your culture. Hey. I always love your company. Sorry, not this company. Goodness gracious me. And I'd love to work with you. Have you ever thought about doing something like this? You know, that's sort of how I reach out to people on social media. If I see someone at school or somewhere, I'm very, very good at getting people to ask me what I do. So I would, you know, ask them what they do. And in return, they ask what you do. And then I insert my 60-second story. So you guys all know you all are working on your 60-second story. That's on our Welcome to the Leask region webpage that I made. So, you know, once you send this message out to someone, guys, they often respond with something that can be taken as a no, but it's very much a hesitation. And, you know, we really have to understand that we're living in a society today where people doubt themselves at every single step because there is so much criticism in the world. Even mums are scared to post stuff about their parenting because there's so many criticisms in the world. Can you guys relate to that? Do you know what I mean? Like it's full on. So they'd be instantly thinking, oh, geez, that'd be cool to make some money on the side. And then the itty bitty shitty committee that I talk about all the time pipes up and goes, you're going to do Arbonne? What? That's not like, what is that? Is that even a thing? You can't do that. What if you fail at it? And then everyone's going to know that you fail at it. What if you've got kids and then, you know, you're trying to do this with your kids? You've already got so much on your plate. We'll all start going. Like, I know that's how I thought when I first got shown the business. So it's very common for our prospects to think the same. And where we go wrong is when they say something back like, I don't have the time, I'm just so busy. We go, oh, they're not going to do it. They'd be so great at it. And we leave it there and we don't follow up. And, you know, we have this fear that we're going to be needy and in their faces and pushy. But I remember one GTC I went to and she said, her name was Sheila Green. And this lady followed up with her for like 7 months or something. Like every month she said at the end of the phone call, she'd say, that's okay, Sheila, I totally understand. Is it okay if I give you a call again next month and see what your circumstances are like and if anything's changed? And Sheila said that she would say to her, well, you can go, and so American, you can go right ahead, girl. You can call as many times as you like, but I'm never going to do this. And anyway, she ended up doing it. She's now one of the top 10 income earners. But she said, I always just found her pleasantly persistent. And I always thought that she was very like professional and committed to her business to continue to follow up like that. She wouldn't do that if she didn't believe in it. So, you know, it's all your angle on it, guys, and how you see that. But it's so important to remember that. You know, Maddie, you're on here, for example. I've followed up through with Maddie, Amy, you know, a lot of you guys on the call. I followed up repeatedly. You know, it's not just ask once. And I remember, Maddie, coming over to your house the very first time that we met, doing a full facial and stuff. And you were like, I love everything. I probably won't get anything today, but I love everything. And I was like, that's great. And I left and I built rapport. And I think it was about 6 months later when Maddie placed her first order. Get the chat bar up. It's just disappeared. Yeah. And then, you know, from there we did that. And then it was about 6 months later after that I asked Maddie if she'd be interested in hosting a presentation. And then it was about a bit after that I asked Maddie if she would like to come to a presentation at the park. So it's a process, you know. It's definitely, like I always say, the average person takes 10 exposures to join your business. So this, what our job is as social network marketers is to follow up and build relationships 110%. So, you know, and I love the feel, felt, found. So see down here, it's got validate. Can you guys see my cursor? I think you can. It's got validate her feelings and then move them by using the feel, felt, found. So I know how you feel. I felt the same way. What I found was that. So, you know, have you guys heard that saying, facts tell but stories sell? I say it all the time, and it's so true. You can sit there with a notepad and pen and every single fact about why we're pure, safe and beneficial and where we come from and our heritage and our founder and all of that. But the moment you tell another mum that there's another mum in here who was also struggling, she'll immediately drop everything and start listening. Or another full-time worker, And you go, you know what, I started this business working full-time too. And they're like, oh, that's my fear. You know, I'm working full-time at the moment. How am I going to fit this in? And you go, you know what, I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way because I also started the business working full-time. And be honest with how you felt. And I remember feeling anxious about how I was going to fit this in. But what I found was that I didn't know any other way where I could stop that lifestyle I was having. And the thought of having that for another 20 years frightened me. I thought I just have to try something. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but at least I know I tried. See how powerful that is and how someone can relate to that. And I love, like, you know, you can read over that. What I found was it really didn't require a lot of time or money. You know, when people say to me, I just don't have the money, I always say, you know, there's so many things, so many other ways we can start your business. You know, so many people have started their business on very, very, very minimal stuff and use their beautiful smile to get them to where they are today. So obviously having products and a kit it's, you know, I often say to people, it's like trying to run a bakery with no flour. Like, you need your products for people to try. But if you don't have money to purchase a startup kit now, that is never something that you want to be holding your prospects back. They can start with some sample packs and they can start training with us and start learning and, you know, start handing out their samples, start offering the business. So many things that they can start doing to start working towards the lifestyle that they want to create. You know, so yeah, I'll put this form up so you get the idea. But I love how they highlight that. And, you know, with the money things too, I say, what other business can you start for the same price as a laptop? Like, it's so affordable. It really doesn't cost a lot of money. And I think it's worth hearing about before you say no. You know, I often say, I just want you to know what you're saying no to. Will you please just give me a 15-minute window somewhere where I can explain how it works, and then when you say no, I'll know that you know what you're saying no to. And they're like, yeah, righto, Denny, fine. You know, and always giving people the two options, guys. I'm free at 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. I'm free on Thursday night or Saturday morning or something like that. You know, that's a psychological thing. It makes people pick a date instead of saying no to everything, or no, I can't do that date, which works best for you. Like I was saying, I'm really hoping to expand quickly and I'm looking for locals as well as global partners. Could you spare 15 minutes, maybe over a cup of coffee, and talk about it? It would mean the world to me. You know, just something very short, simple and sweet and truthful. You always want to be really truthful. You don't need to oversell the business. An overwhelmed mind will say no every single time. And so, you know, I see people all the time in other network marketing companies in my news feed saying how my life has completely changed since joining such and such. And it's like, you joined last week. How has it completely changed your life in a week? Like, you've really got to be realistic. And you see the claims that they make and, you know, I earn money while I sleep. And like, we get all of that because we literally do. I do earn money while I sleep. But to pitch that to someone who's just looking at the business, it just sounds unrealistic and out there. So keep it real. Be honest about your hesitations and your fears. Be truthful about what you love about the company, why you joined. Because why you joined is probably why they're going to join. They're in your network because you're similar. And you know, if you get hesitations there, respond in a similar way but with different words. So, me too, I totally thought that as well, but it turned out that it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Let's just get together for a bit and I'll catch up with you anyway, and we'll just have a coffee. You know, and if they are like, oh, you know what, Danny, I just can't at the moment. You know, I just don't think I'm looking for another business or something. I go, that's fine. And this is when we go over to the funnel. So who's seen this? The asking funnel. How amazing is it? It's so cool. So this is a great way to think when you're meeting someone new or offering someone the business. We call this the funnel to get your asking gear. So you always want to lead with the business. It's so much easier to start at the top of the funnel and work your way down than trying to go from the bottom and work your way up. It just doesn't work. So I always lead with the business. I thought of you because, so I might reach out to someone like I just said with Betty, and I've offered Betty the business. And Betty's just said, it's just not for me at the moment. And I'm like, that's okay. No worries. I totally get that. What if I bring all my stuff over to you and your friends to check out? I really don't mind, and you can earn some free stuff. It's really a win-win for you, you know, to see how it goes or something along those lines. I always mention when I ask someone to do a product presentation, I use the U+2. I call it that. say, would you be interested in hosting a U+2? It's where you just grab 2 friends to come over for the afternoon, and I'll bring my staff and show you guys and do a little presentation. And it's a great excuse for a wine and a catch up. And they only go for an hour, and they really are a lot of fun. You know, something along very short and sweet. You don't want to oversell Arbonne and, you know, go into much detail about what it's going to do so it's paragraphs long. And mentioning that it only goes for an hour is really great, because people think, oh gosh, this is going to go all afternoon. And the presentation part does only go for an hour, you know, so you can keep them, especially when there's only U+2. When you get a few more than that, it obviously will probably go a little bit longer. But that's a great, you know, way to ask someone for a product presentation. And if they say, oh, I just don't really have any friends in my area, or I don't know if it's my friend's sort of thing, you move on to the third piece of the funnel, which is invite to you on your own. Maddie's probably sitting there smiling. This is exactly what I've done with Maddie. So, you know, I'm having some friends over this week to try everything. Would you come? You know, I reached out to Maddie and I said, I'm launching Tiffany in the Park, and I would love it if you come. I would love to show you what I do. And, you know, I've always thought that Maddie would be really great at it, being a teacher, and she's just so kind and lovely. And I thought, oh gosh, and I hear, you know, I know how tired she gets with her full-time job and how it all works. So I'm so excited. Maddie's literally signing up tomorrow, and we're launching her on Sunday. So big welcome, Maddie. I can't see my chat bar if anyone's chatting. Let me just minimize my screen. I had a feeling people would be chatting. Yeah. Funny. Wow, what have you said there, Deanne? Sorry. Betty Crocker. That's funny. Okay, back on point. Sorry, girls. Yeah, so, and then, you know, invite them over. Or you might say, oh, that's cool, no worries. I've actually got a couple friends coming over to my house on Thursday night. Would you like to come and join us and have a wine and check it all out? See what I do? You know, yeah, I'd love to come, or whatever. And if they say no to that, which honestly, guys, it's very rare that I've gone this far and I'm still getting a no. Some people do, but it's rare. You know, usually at this point, they're more than happy to come over. But if they're still like, oh, I'm just really busy this week, I won't be able to come to that, or I go, that's okay. I would still love to get your feedback. Could I swing by or pop a sample in the mail for you to try? I'd just love to see what you think of our products. Yeah, you can post me a sample, or yep, I'll be home all week. You know, I'm not home through the week, but you can drop a pack off at my house or whatever. It's really important, guys, just as a side note, when you're sending someone a sample or when you're going to do a tote drop, make sure that you have that follow-up booked. So you say, oh, great. So if they say yes, I'd love to have a sample pack in the mail. So that's awesome. Well, if I post it tomorrow, it should be there by the end of next week. So I'll give you a couple of days after that, and then can I give you a follow-up call on Wednesday and see what you think of the sample pack? Always close an exposure with another exposure. Then you never feel like you're annoying people. They go, yeah, that sounds great. Call me on Wednesday and I'll let you know how the sample pack went. Great, awesome. I'll give you a call on Wednesday and I cannot wait to reconnect with you again, or something like that. You know, always keep the ball in your court. You want to always keep control in this. You never want to say, you know, say someone's going to have a look at the business, and I'll talk more about that in a second, but you never say, oh, you know what, I'm just send you a pack and you just let me know what you think of it. Or, you know, I'll send you the link for the business. You just let me know when you've looked at it and you want to talk about it, because they're never going to get back to you. And it's not because they don't care, and it's not because they don't love the products or they're not interested in the business. It's because they're so busy. It's insane. We live in a world where people are crazy busy. Sometimes I don't even text my mum back, like my own mother. She texts me and I'm like, oh, that's mum. I've got to get back to her. And then I just forget. And then she rings me at nighttime and she's like, Danielle. I'm like, oh, sorry. Like, people just get busy. It's not because I don't love her and I don't care about what she's doing. I just got distracted, and it's the exact same thing. So always keep them follow-ups in your court. Always close an exposure with another exposure. And the fifth one is referral. So if they say, oh, you know what, I really love the skincare I've got and I don't want you to waste a sample pack on me because I probably won't use it, I say, that's fine. No worries. And you know what? I generally appreciate your honesty. Thanks for chatting with me about it all anyway. Do you happen to know anyone who might be in transition looking for a bit more time, money, or flexibility, or just a change? I always end on a referral. It's very, you know what, in 4.5 years, I've probably sent out the referral message maybe 3 times. It's very rare that you get to that point of the funnel. But there are some people out there that will polite, and it's not uncomfortable either. It's a polite, nice conversation through the funnel. It's not like, you offended them or anyone's upset or anything like that. It's just a really nice conversation. You talk people through and, you know, you find who it's for and who it's not for. And that's what our business is all about. So I love the little side bubble. Remember, if you don't ask, you don't get. You'll always have the business that you ask for. And it's so true. Okay, I'll stop the screen share now and come back to you guys. So you want to build rapport, as I said. And, you know, once someone says to me, like I work out what their need is and they say, for example, it's money, or let's just say it's money. So she says, yeah, it's money. I'm really struggling in my work. I'm not paying my mortgage, etc., etc. I always say, if I could show you a way to fix that, would you be interested to have a look, you know, and go through that? And then I say something, where did I write down my words? I wrote down, oh yeah, if I could show you a way to fix that. So, you know, I've offered the business. And so if I can show you a way to fix this, how many hours a week do you think you would have to put into it to be able to create that? Because I want this to be, these are the important sentences. I want it to be realistic for you. I want to set a, you know, I want you to understand how it works. And I want to give you what I know is possible, you know, and then you could insert another story. Because there are people in my business who are also working full time with kids like you've got, and they're, you know, going into the $1 Million Club. They're earning at least $50,000 a month. So if they can, you can. And I loved, you know, I have access to them. I chat with them. You know, I would love to, oh, hang on guys, I just got to let my little cousin in, just 2 seconds. Bruce, shush. Sorry, and I'm back. Yeah, and then they might say, you know, I've probably got half an hour a day at the moment while I'm working full time. I could do half an hour a day after work, or an hour a day, or whatever it is. And I go, great, so that's like 7 hours a week. Yeah, or, you know, whatever it is, 3.5 hours a week. Yeah, excellent. And what kind of money do you feel like you need to make for that to be worth your time? And I might think about it. And this is the part that's really mind-blowing. Sometimes they come back with their mortgage and say, oh, you know what, if I could make an extra $1,000 a month, I'd be happy with that. And I go, well, honey, I can guarantee you that we can do that. We can definitely do that in those hours, you know, because you totally can. It's so doable. If they go, I want to make $10,000 a month, I'm like, okay, well, it's going to take some time. You know, like, you want to be honest and realistic with people. You can't work half an hour a day for a month and make $10,000 that month. Like, you know, lay it out, and then people know what they're coming into, because some people come in thinking it's a get rich quick thing because it's all been so over talked. And so, you know, so I love that, to set out exactly how it's going to be. And then I say, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about it? You know, so I feel like I've been a bit jumpy going from topic to topic. Is this okay, you guys? I haven't overwhelmed you guys. Awesome. So Betty's interested, you know, I've offered her the business. She's interested. I've asked her how many hours, you know, roughly she can put in. She's told me. I've said, you know what, Betty, this is so doable. That's such a realistic goal that you've just laid out, and we can make this happen. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you sitting with it? How do you feel about starting today? She might say, oh, I'm a 7. And I go, okay, great. That's excellent. So what do you feel like needs to happen to make you a 10? And she might say, oh, I'm just a bit fearful of what my husband's going to say. This is where you get to the real reason why people are holding back from joining your business. I'm just a bit fearful about finding money to start up. I'm still a little bit fearful about the time. And this is when you validate them, guys. You use your feel, felt, found, like I spoke through earlier, relate with stories and help them understand. And this is where you always book with another exposure again. So, you know, I've had people sign up there and then on the spot. Yep, they're ready to go. Awesome. Let's have a coffee on Wednesday and let's get your startup pack ordered. And they're like, yes, I'm so pumped. And then the next time the person takes 6 months, you know, with heaps of exposures. So it's just validating, understanding, getting that feeling for where exactly they're at in their life and their needs and all of that stuff. You don't want to push someone into your business who's not ready either, because then you're going to be just pushing them to stay in your business. You know, it's got to be, and pushing and, you know, forcing and bribing almost. You see some crazy stuff in this business that people do. There was a girl who got into trouble. She wasn't in Arbonne, she was in another company, but she was actually purchasing people's startup kits and then having them pay her off. Like, that's so crazy to get people into her business. So anyway, I'm getting off track, but you get where I'm saying though. Feel, felt, found. So, and always closing with another exposure. Remember, guys, on a side note, people don't join you just is let me start that again. The reason people don't join you is because they don't know enough and they still feel like they just need to know a little bit more. So at that point with Betty, so say with time's up with Betty, I need to get home and feed my husband and my kids and all the rest of it. So at that point I would say to Betty, well, you know what, a 7's great. I'm really excited to talk to you more about this. Can I add you into an opportunity page on Facebook? You can, I'll tag a few ladies in the post who have a very similar story to yours, and I'll get them to share their success story with you. Oh, I would love that. There's that third-party validation. You know, that's really helpful. And then I would send her a message after that. So I've added her in. Then I would send her a message and say, hey, Betty, you know, I loved chatting with you today. If I send you a Facebook link, if I sent you a website link, would you like to have a look at it with a bit more information about our company? And that's where I send that small link, that opportunity link that I think you've all seen or have got. But if I would you is the important part of that. If I send you a link, would you like to see it? Never just send people links without them asking for it or without them allowing it. Never add people into a group without them giving you their consent. It's so respectful and it's so important. And there's, once again, there's psychological stuff in that. When you've asked them if you can send them the link, they feel respected, they don't feel bombarded, and they feel intrigued. They're like, oh yeah, you can send me a link. Now they want to look at the link instead of just opening it up and there's a link there. It's so powerful. So, and then I book a 3-way call. So I would actually book the 3-way call at the business appointment if we had a business appointment or online or however it's going. Obviously, you know, you mold all of these pieces of the puzzle together depending on whether this is online, whether this is one-on-one, however your business appointment's going down. It could be at the front of a school. I've been at the front of a school for an hour because I was saying goodbye and it turned into a business appointment. So at that point, I would say, I'd love to add you into an opportunity page on Facebook. And can I please book a 3-way call with me, you, and my sponsor? The third-party validation, again, guys, is really powerful. So Stacey helped me, even still to this day, if I've got a prospect that I feel like I really need help with, I reach out to Stacey and say, can we do a 3-way business appointment? And it's just that third person on there as well, which is great. So, and that's when you book that in. Always remember that if someone tells you they're interested in your business, each day that they are away from you, they lose interest by 25%. That excitement and that energy fizzles out. So there's, you know how Debbie Neal says ASAP is the biggest thing in your business, and it's so true. As soon as you can get it on your calendar, do it then. Always choose the closest date. So say Betty says, you give Betty 2 dates to choose from, and Betty's like, oh, they're both fine, whichever. You go the closest one every time. Always go as close. Do the next day if you can. I'm always going for the next day. I go, well, you know what? I think Stacey's free tomorrow night, so let's do it tomorrow night. Great. I'd love to hop on the call tomorrow night. You don't want to get into next week, week after, all of that stuff. So much can happen in a week. So much self-doubt can happen. They can talk to the wrong person. All sorts of things can happen in there. So have that sense of urgency in your business. Okay. I think I've gone through everything and I've done it in half an hour. I was chatting, we had a VP meeting on Monday night with Kelly, Stace, Cherie and Nicole, and we spoke about our DMO, and we're really excited to be launching with you guys very, very soon, a bit of a jazzed up DMO. Still the same, daily method of operation, but we've changed it from 3 things to 4 things. And what it is inviting someone to look at your business, following up with someone, connecting with someone, so that's like making a new friend, and reading 10 pages. So I'm so excited. I want you to imagine your business like a car, right? And each of these 4 things are a tire on your car. If you aren't doing all of these 4 things, the car is just not going to roll forward. These are the 4 fundamental, most important parts of your business to move forward. They're the 4 key areas that you need to master, is how to invite people to have a look, getting your wording right, and having the confidence to reach out. And, you know, that happens when you really believe in yourself and the business and all of that. So that's where that, you know, having an understanding of our company and having an understanding of network marketing and reading them. We added read into it. Read, learn, just grow yourself, you know. But I really put emphasis on reading something that's going to grow your belief in you. I think that's the most important thing that you need to do on the daily. We're women and we put ourselves down so fast. Like, who can honestly say they would never speak to anybody in this world like they speak to themselves sometimes? It's so true. And that's what we've got to get on top of. And that's what becomes magnetic about you, and what people want to join is when they can see that shining through you, that you are, you know, living an inspirational life. You know, that's not just financially, guys, that's just being happy. And reading really helps you with that. It helps you find gratitude, it helps you find inner peace and all those sort of things, which makes you become so attractive to work with, for someone to want to follow. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that really quickly too. So, you know, we just went over inviting and how I invite people to look at my business and all of that. And next week I'm going to talk about following up. The week after that, I'm going to talk about how I connect with people and make new friends. And then I'm going to talk about personal development. So we really get our heads around the DMO. So how does that sound? Does that sound good? Oh yeah. And awesome. So great. Does anybody have any questions on all of that, or anywhere that they feel like they need anything? Oh, awesome, Dee. I'm glad you loved it, honey. Anywhere that they feel like they might need a bit of help or validation? Nope, everyone's good. Awesome. Well, have the best Wednesday night, guys. I loved this call tonight too. Loved seeing you guys. Let me take a quick photo. I just want to remember who was on tonight. Well, Deanne, smile. Cool. Awesome. All right, guys, have the best night. Reach out to me if you need me, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.